Hello, Oakwood friends. It is Monday, June 15th, 2020. We are on our 36th day of sketching together. Welcome back. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. It was so beautiful. I hope you got outside, maybe even did some drawing, and enjoyed the weather. It was so beautiful. So today we are working on prompt number 5. We are working on draw something with wheels. Now there are so many things with wheels. I even thought of a handheld egg beater. It has kind of a wheel or a gear. I guess gear is not quite the same as a wheel. There are so many things with wheels. I thought of a unicycle and a bicycle and all kinds of things. Trains. Some trains have wheels, at least kid trains have wheels. Tricycles and all kinds of things. But when I think about what I wanted to draw today, I think back to my high school vehicle. Back when I was a senior, my dad helped me find a 1974 Volkswagen Beetle, and it was orange. It was very cool, the coolest car ever. And I always wanted a classic car, and this really, it was affordable. I paid $975 for this car that was 20 years old, and yet it didn't ever quite work quite right. So my dad put a start button in it, because anytime I parked it on a flat surface, it would never start. So I would have to park it on a hill and roll start it. Now, I had 5 younger siblings. One was a baby at home at that time. So 4 younger siblings who liked to ride to school in my vehicle, but didn't like the ride after school when they had to push start it in front of all of their friends in the parking lot at school. They did not like that one bit. And so you could imagine me sitting in the driver's seat, sometimes outside of the driver's seat, and the rest of the 4 kids pushing this car to get it roll started on a flat surface, and then me jumping in and popping the clutch to get it to go. So eventually, long after I had it and I sold it to my dad, he put a start button in. So all he had to do was push the start button and it started. And long were the days of roll start. So a lot of memories in that car, and a lot of embarrassment as we would sometimes have to roll start it in the strangest places. But I'm going to draw that today. I'm going to draw my 1974 Volkswagen Beetle, and it was bright orange, and it was an actually incredible shape. So it was a fun car to have, but I didn't have any skills to work on it that it needed. So it really wasn't the best car for me, but it was a fun car. And it provided my siblings with a lot of memories and probably anguish during that year of having to push start it all the time. And I think I probably even threatened them that if they wanted to ride home, they better get out and push. In fact, I'm sure I've heard my sister say that to me through the years. So again, I'm drawing from the side. I can see that my tires are not looking so round. But then as we look at the perspective of a photograph, and I'm working from a photograph here, this isn't my Beetle, but it's one that looks like my Beetle. It's hard to get that perspective because the perception is very different as we photograph things, the angles that we photograph them in, and I can see I'm getting this all wrong, but that's okay. I am just getting started, and then again I'll go back in and I'll get the dimensions right. This is just a very rough start to my Volkswagen here. So I'm just going to add the window up here. I wonder if any of you had a Volkswagen Beetle. They were fun cars. Or maybe some of you even bought a Beetle as the new Beetles came out in the 2000s. Maybe you purchased a new one. Or actually, I think in the late 90s, the Beetles came out. The remake of the old classic Beetle. Okay, so there's my very, very rough start to my something with wheels. Wheels are a little tricky because of the angle that we see them at. So I want to draw it round, but it's really not round from this perspective. It's more of an oval. So as I go back into this, I'm going to try to get that angle. The back one is even almost squarish. So sometimes I can go in, I can draw that, put a square in there, and then from there I can start working on what does it really look like when I look at it. Not seeing a perfect circle because I just can't from that perspective. This depth is going back and back, and I'm losing sight of that actual size of the tire. So this is my very rough drawing from the side. I'm going to redraw it or keep going with it. And I'm going to get this to look like my Beetle would have looked like. I'm going to try anyways. That hood, as you can see from your angle, is looking very cartoonish. But for a rough start, it's okay. And I encourage you just to put lines in and get those lines started, because that just lets us lay out the details, start the details. It gets us started. It doesn't have to be perfect at all. None of our drawings have to be perfect. Just laying down some lines and having fun with making impressions. And could I leave my drawing just like this? Absolutely. What's more important to me is the memory of this vehicle. And I don't really care if I get it to look just like it looks, but it's the memory of what this vehicle meant to me as a 17 and 18-year-old and spending time with my family. Although it wasn't always quality time when our frustration got escalated because of this car. But there were good times in this car as well. And we enjoyed taking it out. I even would take it out with my mom to get groceries sometimes. It's kind of a tiny little car, and if you remember, the trunk is actually right here in the hood, and the engine is in the back. So that's a fun feature. So the trunk was always empty, and we would put our groceries in there. So it could be fun to take that out with my family. And then I sold it to a college roommate or my dad sold it to a college roommate, I should say, because it was his at the time. Not a roommate, a friend, a college friend. And the college friend painted all over it, put a huge earth on the side of it, a huge hand holding the earth. And then I heard that the Volkswagen caught on fire one time, the engine caught on fire. And so he took it and replaced it with a bus engine, because some bus engines, or Volkswagen bus engines, were compatible with the Beetle. So, and then he sold it because it too for him was too much work. But a fun little car nonetheless. So I hope you thought of something with wheels and that you're making it. I would love to see your images. Please give me a call, 230-4324, or send me an image if you can. Jennifer.Bethel, Bethel, Jennifer.Bethel@oakwoodvillage.net. Okay, happy art making. We'll be back here tomorrow, Tuesday at 11. And don't forget, this is the last week of Create Like the Greats with Stephanie. It will run tomorrow, Tuesday at 3 p.m. and then again on Thursday. So please catch that if you can. Okay, see you soon.